This is what 1 acre luxury living looks like in Texas. Today, I am taking you through one of the most stunning Perry home floor plans currently in George's Ranch out here in the Texas Hill Country. So we are in Boerne, Texas. This is the 4354 floor plan sitting on an incredible 1 acre home site. So all of these homes are in about an acre home site, maybe some of them just a tad over, depending like if they're in a cul-de-sac. This particular floor plan right now is a 4354, which means that is the square footage. It is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3-car garage. As we walk in through the double doors, we definitely have a beautiful grand entrance. Take a look at that staircase, the railing, dramatic ceilings. I love the light fixture that they have there, gold tone. And before we move on, I wanted to mention that curb appeal was absolutely stunning. We had that full masonry exterior. It had that brick and stone, very beautiful coach lights as well. I'm Monica Nino, local realtor in San Antonio and the surrounding areas, including Boerne. Tons of natural light coming in. This is, of course, the model homes. They will have the sliding glass doors. I love how they do have those extra 3 windows above. And then this is about a 20-foot ceiling here. They do have a gorgeous light fixture hanging down. Gorgeous floor-to-ceiling fireplace. And let's go on into our kitchen. So Perry homes, of course, they're always very well known for their islands. I'm a big fan of them using the cabinet space underneath of their island. So at this price point, of course, you're definitely going to have an oversized island. Really becomes a centerpiece of your kitchen. Light color, very good contrasting with the darker cabinets. And I just kind of wanted to take a peek in here for you guys to take a look. So really a perfect spot for gathering, having your kiddos sit around as you're doing breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have gorgeous stainless steel appliances. We do have the upper cabinets. So that second level of cabinets, of course, that would be considered an upgrade. They do have the 2-tone cabinets set up here with the gold hardware. We do have the built-in appliances, so that is perfect. So if you are someone that enjoys being in the kitchen and really loves to cook and entertain, whether you're hosting family, friends, or especially for the holidays, this is a gorgeous kitchen all around. Don't mind that. Tons of natural light coming into the kitchen area and that little breakfast nook. Very nice upgraded kitchen sink here. We do have the gorgeous stovetop. It is a gas stovetop. And so standard for the Perry homes out here are going to be GE stainless steel appliances. And so typically this is an electric would be a 36-inch gas community. However, you are able to take care of that and get the double oven set up as a gas. That's pretty amazing for entertaining. Standard kitchen features would actually be all general. And then coming into this kitchen area, it's not just formal dining, and then it would include a 36-inch I will say it's a very good space. We have a total of about 12 windows. I did want to take a look at this angle. Very large, long kitchen. Of course, they do have that upgraded vented hood. And so making our way into the actual main living room of the home, again, like I mentioned, we have a gorgeous fireplace setup. It is going from the floor to the ceiling. I won't say that this is the largest living area. However, I'm going to show you in just a bit the other 2 areas that would be perfect for entertaining. So massive wall of windows. If you don't go with the sliding glass doors, again, which is an upgrade, you would have these huge windows and then a door that would lead out into your backyard. So again, that's just an option for you to consider. So very open, very cool, very peaceful. We got the 8-foot front doors right there, double doors that we walked in through. The railing up there for the second level, which you can see down into your home. Very nice. So everything's pretty bright down here. You don't even need the lights on. So they designed this home just to maximize really the natural light coming in. Now, we had mentioned earlier that this is a 4.5 bath. This is going to be your half bath right here. So this is just your guest bathroom downstairs. So your guests don't have to go in through any of the bedrooms. Now, before we continue with the rest of the first level, which I really, really love, we're going to go up a couple of steps here, and then here we are. We are met with this beautiful office space here. Perry Homes, I think, just did an incredible job designing this room. If you can imagine working from home and this is your office space every single day, I think we're going to be okay with that. So huge, tall ceilings, beautiful natural light pouring in. Really, it's just kind of separated, I think, in a good way as far as going into the main living areas. So, you're not worried about noise. You're not worried about conversations that are being had in the living kitchen area. So very remote, I think very elegant, very luxurious looking. I would say almost feels like an office retreat. So in today's world, I know many of my clients still work from home, so this is great. Love the staircase here, the iron balusters and the stained wood detailing. I love the two-tone paint as well. So very custom, very nice. I like the feel of it. As we reach the top of the staircase, I'm going to kind of just peek over here. And then right on the left-hand side, there is going to be a couple of steps going up, and you're going to have one of your guest bedrooms. So it is an ensuite. I think it's a great size. You have, I would say this is probably a queen with the two nightstands. You got some windows coming in for some lighting. Closet's not the smallest, not the biggest, but I think a pretty good space for your guest or your kiddos. Here we have our bath. One of the things I always like to highlight in the video is did the builder tile all the way to the ceiling? And in this case, they did. I don't know how I feel about this type of tile. Let me know what you think. For some reason, I'm just never really a big fan of that kind of tile. But I do like the white cabinets, granite countertops. It does have a gold hardware. So coming out, you'll notice right here, you can tell the staircase right here. So we got a couple of steps coming down. And again, that one was right immediately right after the staircase. So we're walking down the hall and we're going to go into a couple of more guest bedrooms. I wanted to take a peek down so you can see the view that you would have from the second level. No one can deny just some definite gorgeous views from the railing. So we're going to walk on over to the other two guest bedrooms. Now these are set up as a Jack and Jill. If you're not familiar with that, basically they do have a shared bathroom space in between the two rooms. So almost kind of like a college dormitory is what I always think about. So I will say that Perry did a great job as far as the spacing for the rooms. They are not small. I think they're an adequate space. The closets are also a very good space. This is your vanity area for the first room. I did want to mention, if you're not familiar with Boerne, Texas, or George's Ranch, for example. So and then George's Ranch have about the 10-minute shower tub combo 10 to 15 minute drive to it does the have the Boerne area. Vertical tiles. One of the popular going upwards streets is called Main Street in Boerne, on this Texas, one they do have the frame mirrors on this area that the locals love to hang out. So there is a window right there. Maybe like a Lifetime movie in which you think about a small town feel. And so there is a bunch of restaurants, we have bakeries, there's live music, coffee shops, boutiques. So super, super cute setup. And again, this is all through Main Street. Very, very nice, very popular. And again, this is just out here in the Texas Hill Country. If you're not from Texas, this is kind of going to be a very cool area that is very lively, has a lot of things going on within Boerne. But if you're interested to get down to the San Antonio downtown area, it's about a 45-minute drive, so it's not too far. La Cantera is probably about a 25 to 30-minute drive from George's Ranch. La Cantera is a very popular shopping retail area. If you're from San Antonio, you know that La Cantera is probably one of the most popular areas for shopping, for dining. I know for my husband, he especially loves the Spurs fan shop that is right by there at the Rock. And then they have Dick's Sporting Goods right near the rim as well. Very cool spots. And so now we're going to go ahead and make our way. Finally, we're getting to the cool spots for me that I absolutely am so excited to show y'all downstairs. Again, that's the ensuite, the first bedroom that's off to the side. And then we have the two Jack and Jill. As we reach the first level, we are back. I am going to show you again two of my favorite little spots. If you think about everyday living, if you think about functionality, right? And so as you're home shopping, of course, open floor plans are very common nowadays. But I will say, if you think about, okay, what is actually going to work for my family? This is something that I thought was super cool. So you have, in essence, I'll call this a game room. So the setup is incredible. It's private off to the back side of the home, over to the left. it is tucked away from the main living area. Wanted to take a quick peek. So there is a doorway for you to get out into your patio area. I did want to point out those tall windows, tons of natural light coming in. So here I stand at the corner just to kind of get that perspective and then take a look at that view. Again, this is a 1 acre home site. So whatever you choose to do in that backyard, definite room for there. I will say that these built-in cabinets are an upgrade. And so, just to kind of get some ideas. And then coming over to the media room, definitely picture that. You can get some oversized reclining chairs, a huge projection screen, if not your big screen TV, surround sound. I mean, really, this is going to be a perfect spot for football games, for video games. If your kiddos have the PlayStation that does have a tray ceiling. I love that. That is standard, by the way. I did want to talk to the sales gal about that. That is a standard. Of course, the painting and the little decor on the wall, that would be considered an upgrade. But I like how it's set up right next to each other. So you do have the living space if you want to kind of have some adult conversations and don't really want the kids kind of playing their video games on that particular TV. You got a playroom, game room, and actually an actual media room, which is great. So as far as one of the biggest things that we have relocation buyers that are really, really interested in is, what does a backyard look like? What does a patio look like? For them, outdoor living is a big deal, especially if you have folks coming from up north where they don't get a lot of sunshine. There is a lot of rain. The backyard setup really just kind of makes the client really feel confident in where they're buying and if that yard space is going to be sufficient or not. Now, this one is, of course, an acreage home site, but I will say we do have some folks that have moved down or upsize, downsize. And for them, they're not interested in having a big backyard. And that's okay, too. We definitely have some homes for you as well. But in this case, this is a very huge, large patio. Notice all the windows, of course, very nice. This one is set up kind of just like a lounging area with a covered deck there. So what I'll do in just a second, I'm going to use the neighbor's fence line just to give you an idea of how far out your lot would actually be out here in George's Ranch. So obviously, right, custom pool definitely is doable out here. Outdoor kitchen, fire pit, playscapes, and there's a fence line there so you can tell how much of land you have coming outwards. So we do have some buyers that have relocated from California, for instance, and honestly, they're shocked, right? So when they see the backyard like this, or even just a standard, 50 foot by 120, they are in awe at the pricing of the Texas homes, what they're listed at versus what they're paying for California. I remember that I was stunned when I saw one of my clients' tax bill, and I was thinking, okay, I was complaining about my property taxes, but wow, it was really eye-opening for me to see that. So obviously, I get why people are moving down, for example, from California. They have a beautiful home that probably would cost $450,000 here in Texas, and out in California, it's going for about $1 million. So as we're walking in, I am excited to share that we are finally getting to the primary bedroom and the primary bath, which of course is always going to be a fan favorite for me. Let me know what you think about this particular breakfast nook area. I like when it's spaced out. I'm not a big fan of when it's very, just a little snug area where you can maybe sit a 4-seater, 5-seater. This, in fact, is actually an 8-seat table. So very nice, adequate space. I'm going to say that's a positive for me on my side. So finally making our way into the master, the primary. Here we are. Gorgeous windows throughout. Take a look at that. So panning on over into the master. Very good space. Let me know what you think about the darker colors for the primary master. I like the darker colors. I feel like it kind of just makes the room feel a little more relaxing, a little more calm to unwind after a long day. We do have the tray ceiling. I don't know if I'm a fan of that particular fixture. I think I would want something that looks just a little bit more dramatic. But finally, we're going to make our way into the primary bath. And I will say that I'm going to focus on one little part of this bathroom that's a little different from our usual videos. Take a look at all those windows. Amazing view. You don't definitely need any shutters, any curtains. Just keep that open. Love it. Stunning. And so honestly, we're making our way into our master. You're definitely going to be impressed with this bathroom. It is gorgeous. Typically, I would want to show you that standalone tub, but for me, this is what caught my attention. You have this gorgeous cabinet here. Of course, it's an upgrade, but a very, very beautiful. It's tall to the ceiling. We have built in the glass inserts, and then it is lit up. So I thought that was lovely. I love that. I think I would be in heaven with that in my home. We do have the standalone tub, very, spa inspired type of retreat here, so you can relax and unwind after your long day. I will say, originally when I saw the shower, I thought that we can get it, enter from both sides, but no, that is not the case in this one. So very nice vanity setup here, counter space. I do like the little light fixtures on the sides. I think that makes it look super elegant, very spa-like, right? Very open, very bright in here. Although we do have that frosted window, I think it still does a great job of bringing in sufficient light. So this is one of the closets. The master primary bath does have 2 closets. So that was one of them. And of course, the shower was closed off on that side. So in fact, you would only have one way to enter the shower, and it does have a little instep down. It is tiled on the bottom. It is tiled to the top. We got the vertical, I would say almost like a soft white with some gray hint tone in there. And it is tiled to the ceiling. I will always be a big fan of a seat. For my age, I think seats are always going to be a positive thing in a shower, especially a walk-in shower. So very spacious. I just like this bath all around. You definitely won't be bumping into your partner. You got the little private toilet right here. And then off to the left-hand side, you have that secondary closet. So this one, I will say, is definitely bigger. So you decide, would this be your closet or your partner's? And then coming out, I don't know how you feel. I know I have some friends that are not a fan of this, but I definitely am a fan of this. I love how the master primary bedroom or bath actually transition into the laundry room. Now, this is not just a laundry room. This is really like a laundry retreat. It is huge, tons of cabinet space. I love that they threw a little refrigerator there. As we make our way out of the laundry area, I did want to point out that this is a doorway exiting out of this room. However, that's the master bedroom door right there. So you can come in from the laundry side, or you can come in from the actual bedroom side. So basically, as far as the layout, it's kind of like a circular shape as far as the bedroom into the bath, and then of course the laundry room. So making our way back into the front of the home, we're going to pass through this stunning kitchen that I'm a big fan of. And then we have a couple of things that I did want to point out. We did skip the pantry earlier. So I think it's a pretty adequate space. Very nice. Over to the left-hand side, again, this is a model, right? And so we do have the office space. That would be where you would have your 3-car garage. We do have a mud area. The built-in shelves, that is going to be an upgrade. But it does, in fact, have a mud area there. So if you wanted to have those extra cabinets, that's doable. And, of course, in your design center, they'll go through everything that is an option for you throughout the layout here. So we're going to make our way back. We do have one little closet. I do want to mention, because taxes, of course, are important. And so if you are considering relocating to Texas, or actually moving to the suburbs of San Antonio, this particular community here in George's Ranch does not have a mud or a pit. So I did want to kind of get that out there as well for y'all. This is going to be the other bedroom that is downstairs aside from the primary master. I think this is a very good space too. I like how it is off to one side of the home, so it's not near the master. It's actually on the front right quarters of the home. As far as warranty goes, for Perry Homes, they do give a 2-year workmanship limited warranty, and then they do give a 10-year structural limited warranty. So as far as the landscaping, they do cover the landscaping package, which is fully sodded in terms of the front and the backyard. You do have an irrigation system that also comes with your home. Of course, the technology is there. So definitely wiring throughout the home. It's wired for your alarm system. It's pre-wired for your surround system in one of the rooms. So it could be the family room. If you choose one that has a game room and a media room. So you decide on where you would like that pre-wire. In the Perry home as well, we are going to have 8-foot rectangular 6-panel interior doors, or you can choose to have the raised 2-panel doors. Now, these are all going to be on the first level if you have a 2-story home. So nickel or bronze lever door handles. I love the wine bar right here. I'm a big fan of the butler's pantry. For me, I'm talking to the sales gal. Both of these areas are standard. Okay, now if you choose to upgrade the cabinets, that would be a choice for you as a buyer. But this area is not considered an upgrade. It is standard, and how you set that up would be depending on your design center visit. So here we are, guys. We are about to wrap up. This is going to be your formal dining area that was right over by the entryway. Gorgeous stairs right there. I think, again, just like the breakfast area, this is a very good space here, very open. And so if you're a fan of hosting family and friends, this entire area is going to be great. Not a problem at all. Thank you for sticking with me for this entire Perry home tour. It was beautiful, very nice. And we'll see y'all for the next full Texas home tour. Actually, Emily, the sales rep for Perry out here, did mention that there is an inventory home like the model. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tour that one next. So please stick around, stay tuned for that next video. And that way you can kind of make a comparison as far as what the model actually had, which is all the bells and whistles, right? And then to what an inventory would have. And then that way you can also take a look at the pricing differences depending on your upgrades, as well as the setup of your home in terms of where is your lot located? Are you interested in a cul-de-sac? Are you interested in a corner? Or are you interested in being by the pond